Hello and welcome to this week's Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, a show dedicated to Critical Role over on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. Welcome to everyone joining us live, and as always, if you can't stay, we will be posting this on Monday. Many thanks again to Griffin Malcolm at Malagriff for our logo. This week features more amazing pieces of art, and many eternal thanks to everyone who allows us to use their art. There are so many amazing artists and builders and just everything within our community, and it really is a pleasure to be allowed to feature your stuff. The current art is by Kyla, I hope I said that correctly, at Hyperbali, Hyperbali, over on Twitter. And later you'll be seeing fan art by John Herzog at John Herzog Artist, JONHERZOG Artist. J.K. Harrison at Deadpan Pool. And Chris Madison at CMadison13. That's CMADDISON 13. In Chris's submission for the art is not the traditional ink and paper or digital art that we've been normally featuring. This is a picture of what Vox Machina would look like in Lego form. Not the Lego miniatures, but actually made out of Legos.
It's pretty rad.
Indeed. It's really great seeing the adult fans of Legos in the community, because there's just so much that they can do, and celebrate their hobbies as well at the same time as they're celebrating Critical Role, and it's just awesome. If you'd like your fan art featured here, please let any of the show's hosts know via one of the following. You can use our official Twitter at Gilmore_gossip. The host direct Twitters, which we'll give those out in a moment. Our email address, gilmoresgloriousgossip@gmail.com, all one word. Or our Tumblr, gilmore-gossip.tumblr.com. And we'll do our best to get it on the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch us each and every week. I'm Akiva, found on Twitter at AkivaDavid, AKIVADAPHYDD. And joining me today is my excellent friend. Please, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Jess, otherwise known as Jessie LR Leaf over on Twitter. You must capitalize every first letter of every major word. So that's the J, the L, the R, and then the next L. And yeah, I'm psyched to be here.
So that will bring us into our pre-show announcements. From Critical Role itself, as most of us know, most of the cast is present in Middle-earth: Shadow of War by WB Games. And Matthew Mercer has challenged the critters to find the orcs that the Critical Role cast voices and get those characters to the top as orc generals. So I'm wondering how many screenshots we're going to have with the Critical Role cast as the leaders of the orc army.
It's gonna be great.
Yes. And for one announcement coming from me personally, I'm looking for dungeon masters that wish to broadcast their games. Whether it's D&D, Star Wars, Pathfinder, any of the tabletop RPGs. I'm looking for those in those groups that wish to broadcast their games. So if you're one of those groups or just want some more information, tweet me or direct message me, whatever, over on Twitter. Just a reminder, that's at Akiva David, AKIVADAPHYDD, and I will get you all the information and see how things go. But that will bring us to the comments from last Gilmore's Glorious Gossip. And this week, coming to us from Scooter GSP here on YouTube. Scooter says, I don't think that Matt is going to end the campaign unless the entire cast is present. My reasoning being that this game began pre-stream as a very personal thing between a small group of very close friends, and I believe that Matt is the kind of person that would feel that because they all started this together, it is only appropriate that they conclude it together. If the party meets Vecna and someone isn't in studio for that session, Vecna will retreat after a fairly significant battle. I think then that the next time Ashley or any other cast member that wasn't able to make it is able to play in person, and if everyone else is present, that is going to be the final session for the campaign, one way or the other. And that's an interesting thought. So, fellow DMs out there, let us know in the comments below, or in the live chat if you're joining us live, how committed are you to making sure everyone in your group is at the table to end out the campaign?
I would want everybody to be there, to be honest. I don't know if Matt's still stalling. It just seems like there's just a lot to explore. And if he is, then maybe there's a scheduled date that Ashley can get back in, and that's what they're waiting for. But I don't know.
It would make sense, and it is seeming to drag on in that direction.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But this week there are no Talks Machina moments, primarily because there wasn't a Talks Machina. And the one previous, applied to episode 110, but I think we've actually covered everything that was covered in that one already.
Yeah.
Not necessarily verbatim what Talks Machina said, but...
Yeah, there was just gossip and little details strewn about Percy and Vex's life together. Whether or not Taliesin was talking about, he doesn't really mind if Percy goes out during this final confrontation. He's fine with dying, but he's also fine with living on. He just wants it to be glorious.
Well, that's good. But that will go ahead and take us into episode 111. Jess, since you did the notes this week, would you like to take the lead on them?
Yeah, sure. All right. So everybody had just come back from Burning Man, but Matt also had sciatica issues coming in after Burning Man. So he had to go and see a specialist and could not walk the previous Thursday. So we had to skip a week, and everybody was a little bit unsure about where to start out. So we had a couple of minutes of everybody trying to figure out where the heck they were.
Sam wondering out loud, how do you play D&D?
Yep. but we are in the chambers that are leading away from the area where they were fighting those undead trolls. And we have Vax going forward to go on and check the tunnel for traps. And we get this cute little confrontation with Vax and Vex, where Vex is warning him, hey, don't go too far away from me, say like 40 feet ahead.
Stay within 60 feet.
Yeah, stay within 60 feet. And Vax just turns around literally like 10 paces in front of her and says, okay.
Yeah, because she was saying that over the earring, which just was hilarious.
Very. So we get the tunnel gradually going at an incline, but soon they find out that it's blocked due to rubble having fallen because of the Titan shifting in several places. So Vex and Vax head up on the broom to inspect the blockage and realize they're going to need somebody to remove all of it. And when they get up on the broom, because Vax can't fly, Liam keeps making the point to say, oh, this might be the last time that we do this. And this isn't the first time he does this in the episode, and everybody's just groaning because it's like he's poking fun at the fact that his character is going to die no matter what.
Yeah, but I mean, even if his character wasn't going to die, once they fight Vecna, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So.
So they head up on the broom. Scanlan, Keyleth, and Percy are trying to pay attention to the steps to make sure that nothing is changing in the Titan's gate so that they can figure out exactly, okay, well, if he hasn't been, whether or not he's moving faster towards Vasselheim and whether or not they're on more of a time crunch.
That I didn't quite understand. Because, why would it's a Titan, why would it need to pick up the pace?
I don't, it probably wouldn't, based on what Matt was thinking. Matt probably wasn't going to change the pace, but it's an honest worry to have, because when you're basically, you're in an undead Titan moving towards a city that you know if it falls, it's going to damage this world's will to keep fighting immensely. So you're going to be a little skeptical whether or not things are moving faster than you would like them to.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a Titan. It's pretty much unstoppable. There is not a weapon in D&D that could actually take down a Titan, or an undead Titan, easily.
Yeah.
And it being undead, it's just going to keep walking right through the city, crushing everything in its path. So honestly, from the inside, you would never even be able to tell that anything was.
Yeah, unless it was like bending down or something, or just decided to sit down on top of Vasselheim. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
So the party suggests that Grog goes up and punches his way through the blockage, but it's a tiny space. So we got the twins that are up there on the broom, and then Grog going into a rage, climbing his way up to this point where the rock seems weakest, where they need to go. And they're like, oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot. So they try to, they roll to see if they can pass beneath him through his legs. And you get a pretty, I drew this for the live sketches on Tumblr. I couldn't stop laughing. My roommate had to coach me through doing this. I was like, I can't draw this. And she was like, you have to draw that.
Vex and Vax are born again.
Ace Ventura moments
Yep.
all around.
Oh.
Let's see. So we get them going through Grog's legs, and in time with the steps, so he doesn't make too much of a ruckus, Grog punches through the wall, coming into the next chamber beyond the blockage, and there appears to be a firelit hallway ahead, and the hall leads off into a couple different directions, but one entrance is blocked off. Keyleth, on rolling a natural 20, discovers where the party is currently in the Titan, and they're up in the sternum level at this point. So they're making their way up there.
Yep. Shouldn't be too much longer before they're at the head.
Yeah. Especially where they ended up last week.
Oh, yeah.
Not last week, but by the end of...
end of 111.
Yeah. So we get Vax scooting up into the next chamber that they come to at the end of the hall, and it is a round chamber, 40 feet from side to side. It's pretty small. It's covered in ash, and there's no discernible exit. And the only thing in there is a mirror that's 8 feet tall. Go ahead.
There was a little bit of discussion, could this be a trap? And I don't know how many people out there have seen Firefly. But there's one scene where Nathan Fillion's character, Mal, is talking to the companion back on her homeworld. And actually, I think this was from the movie Serenity. But...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she's like... she says to Mal, "Why'd you come here? You had to know this was a trap." Or no. I'm sorry. That's a different scene. No, this scene was... Kaylee had mentioned about Mal and the companion getting along for once.
Oh, yeah.
And this was before that other scene that I was talking about. And so Zoe says, "So, you think it's a trap?" Mal says,
it's definitely
a trap.
They didn't argue once.
Yeah, and Kaylee's like, "Well, how do you know? Maybe she just wanted to see you. You saw how we got along? Trap!"
Yep.
So, but yeah, that room just screamed trap.
Oh, definitely. There's no more obvious way to make it a trap than to put a mirror right in the center of an empty room full of ash.
Yes.
That's a trap. So, hesitantly, the party enters the room and discovers that there are pressure knobs on the far side of the chamber, inlaid within each of the corners, both two on the top corner parts of the corner and two on the bottom parts. And they search around in the ash and to make sure whether or not it's, humanoid and it's biological remnants of people that had been burned before. So, exiting the room, Vax uses Simon to go on ahead and go up to the mirror, tap on it, finds that it's just a mirror. Nothing's trapped about that. But Simon goes over to one of the knobs and fiddles with one of them. And as soon as he does, the room is cut off from Vox Machina, who are just right outside of it, by this giant iron door. And after a few minutes, they put their hand up to the door and find it getting warmer and warmer and discover that this is pretty much an oven.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Crispy, tasty Simon.
No, poor buddy. But he's magical, so they find Simon, because he does have HP, has reverted back to his belt form, and he won't be able to be used until a long rest again. Yeah, but that's okay. So checking the walls, they discover, after several minutes of double checking with Matt, the order by which they need to press each knob. They discover little lines that indicate how many times each knob needs to be pushed, and then which ones need to be pushed in sequence.
Yeah, and it was actually Scanlan who found the symbols.
Yeah.
By seeing them lit up by the heat in the mirror. You couldn't see them by looking directly at them, but in the mirror you could see them.
Yeah.
So I like that little detail.
All right. So using that that new sequence, they have Scanlan cast Unseen Servant, which he names Simon 2. And he has Simon 2 go up and press the buttons in sequence, and they find that the mirror changes. I skipped past this part a little bit. Did the mirror have like a definite shimmer to it after they'd done that?
Yeah, what happened was the glass in the mirror did like a little wave.
Okay.
And then faded away, and revealing the entryway into the next area.
Gotcha. So they head through this portal that leads into a hallway with a staircase ascending upwards, which are basically laid out like my apartment staircases. So I was right there along with them, going up 3 flights of stairs, just like, yep, that's my trek every day.
Yeah, 3 flights of stairs on a switchback. It sucks.
It sucks even more when it's the 7th floor.
Oh God. You live on the 7th floor?
I was during my sophomore year, but I took them every day.
Whew. At that point, I just set up a rappelling tower and rappel down. Only have to worry about getting back up. But, yeah.
No, go away, Google updates. Sorry.
So, Vax once again takes the lead, looking for traps. And as he's doing so, Liam remembers that he has reliable talents. So it's not. I think his baseline becomes 23.
No. If he rolls a 1, his baseline's 18.
Oh, okay. I know for one of the talents, one of the twins has a minimum of 23. So, but yeah. Oh no, okay, so 23, now that I remember, is from Vex when she's in her favored terrain.
Yeah.
So, okay. But yeah. So he can do no less than 18.
Yup.
But they eventually come into the cavern that has the center chamber where essentially the city center and probably all of the judicial stuff was held. Right there in the heart of this Titan. The chamber is 100 feet high, and the city below, they can see bridges crisscrossing throughout the city. Um, Looking down below, Vax spots a temple in the distance, and the party members are like, we should go check that out. Vax is a little worried about their timetable, thinking, we don't really have time to explore. Let's get to Vecna and finish him before we lose the world.
Yeah. And then it becomes a discussion with Vax pulling Percy aside. We got people in the chat telling us about Vax's stealth. Oh, yeah. Vax's stealth from John O'Brien is plus 16, so his minimum stealth is 27.
Nice.
Or 26.
26, but yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything.
But that does bring up the point that the party does discuss several times throughout this episode. Vax no longer has his wings. Everybody is slowly having to reroll hit dice and heal themselves and running out of those spell slots on top of burning a couple of their spells and sometimes even higher level spells in order to compensate for the dangers that they're facing in here.
Yeah. By the same token, at the very, very beginning of the episode, they took the time to remind each other, don't split the party. Got to keep everybody within 60 feet of Vex because she has the ring that will hide us from Vecna until the last moment.
Then Keyleth suggests that they split the party right here and then.
And everybody was like, oh, okay. Until Percy was like, oh, wait a minute.
Nope, Scanlan.
Or Scanlan, sorry. I knew it was that bottom table. And I knew it was Sam. But I was still thinking about Percy's talk with Vex.
Oh, okay.
So Percy came out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh. So that pretty much nixed that idea.
John, you have to make up your mind. He says, no, double proficiency is plus 12 and plus 5 to dex, so I was right, it's 27.
Do you get double proficiency or do you get baseline 10?
It's baseline 10 with reliable talent.
That's what I thought. In fact,
I'm going to check. I have the player's handbook right here.
Yep, as do I.
You can find it first.
Well, I could cheat and open up my PDF, but...
Whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10.
So it would be 16.
Okay.
16 plus the 10.
Alright. So 26.
Yep.
Alright, but yeah, Scanlan realizes that, nope, can't split the party, so everybody has got to go down to the temple. And Matt's face, that entire time, I went back and watched that entire scene.
He was so eager.
You could see it. He wasn't, his poker face was really, it was very, very good, but his back and forth motions between each party member was a little urgent, so you could tell he knew.
Yeah, he wanted them to split up. And the look of bemused disappointment.
Yeah.
At the end of that conversation, he had his hands up, like, so close.
So close.
So close. So, my notes are not moving.
Okay, so Vox Machina heads down into the city, and Keyleth had beforehand cast Pass Without a Trace because if Vex had cast it, then she would be wasting some of her spell slots that she could have used for other things. So Keyleth burns one of her lower level spells for her. And Vox Machina heads down into the city. And everybody rolls pretty high on their stealth, except for Grog, while Travis rolls a nat 1.
Yep. We'll just claim that the Goliath was wanting more blood and was getting bored. We'll go with that.
So as they weave through the city, they discover that there are quite a bit undead wandering around. Lots of them with just half-rotted flesh still sticking to their forms. A lot of them just skeletons, but a lot of undead cannibal dwarves. And they see the temple that has a faint pulsing blue glow inside.
What did you think when Matt described that?
So, I was thinking, it kind of confused me a little bit, because I was trying to figure out his reasoning from a DM's perspective. If he had left like similar jewels throughout the city, would Vox Machina have benefited from collecting all of them? Would destroying any of them done anything? Because once they had gotten up to the temple, they saw a whole bunch of undead circling around it, but it wasn't strong enough for any of the other undead to really notice it. So was it really that important?
My first thought was, oh, somebody permanently enchanted this gem to be a candle.
Oh.
That was my thought. And the fact that Vox Machina wanted it so badly, I was laughing because I think it's nothing more than a light source.
Just a little bit of flavor?
Yeah.
I can honestly see that, because if it's less than 5 pounds, which is all an Unseen Servant can pick up, I would know I have it for my bard, then I don't think it's that important either. But by the same token, I'm kind of along with Vox Machina, like, what is this? Why is this like attracting them so much? What is it? Just what was it doing here?
We'll have to find out later, maybe.
But as they're heading through, they see all these undead, and Grog knocks his axe against a piece of stone, which causes an entire statue to fall with a resounding boom that echoes throughout the entire cavern. And several undead proceed to see the party and begin to chase them. So they duck left into another side street, and as these undead follow them through, they quickly dispatch them. Like, skeletons, I'm beginning to realize, not that bad of enemies at all.
No, not at all.
No, especially for like high-level characters like this. Like, these skeletons probably have, 40 to 50 health points?
If that.
If that, yeah. And Percy's able to, like, take him out. Didn't he just take him out in one round at one point? With his sword?
He took several of them out.
Yeah, 3 of them out with 3 hits. So that was a thing.
Yep.
But they get up to this temple where Vax peeks inside and sees about 12 undead facing this pulsing crystal just sort of swaying in front of it. And after a little bit of an argument and just trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do in order to obtain this crystal, there are so many ideas being tossed around. And at this point, I'm just getting frustrated because it's like, my God, come up with something, please.
I mean, I don't know. Going back to our comment from last Gilmore's Glorious Gossip, if Matt said, "Hey guys, I'm trying to get this to, buy some time for Ashley to get back to us,"
then it would make sense.
Yeah, because maybe with the other with the players being in on it, maybe they're looking at things a little bit harder in order to help Matt facilitate that.
Yeah.
So. But we'll see.
Yep. So they eventually come up with the idea that the party decides to let Scanlan's unseen servant, which is still with them, to go inside the chamber, pick up the jewel, and then book it back to them. And they create a tiny commotion somewhere elsewhere for the undead to hone in on, which was actually kind of like telling that these undead probably were just looking at this bauble just because it was a light source.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit of warmth that they were honing in on. Which kind of confirms your theory, Akiva, that it's just a candle.
Yeah.
But several of them chase after the the crystal, and Vox Machina decides, okay, well, we're just going to book it out of here, and Keyleth goes eagle form with Vax riding her, Percy and Vex on the broom, and everybody else on the carpet, and they shoot straight up into the air.
And below them, it's like an anthill.
Yup.
Just
crack open a Titan, and you get ants spilling out. It's like stepping on a spider's egg full of tiny baby spiders, and as soon as you hit it, just spiders everywhere.
Yes. Hundreds and hundreds of undead dwarves in the city. Some in the center end up, falling and getting crushed and just getting obliterated as, pieces of the structure just break away. It's just, wow.
Yep.
So, but
hold on real quick, because do you think that Vecna would either have the Titan fall and break open, releasing all of these undead upon the city of Vasselheim, or do you think he'd still use the Titan for his own purposes?
I can see the way I see it happening, because, they're undead. Vecna does not really care about them.
No.
So the way I see it going in my head is, as the Titan is wading through the city, crushing everything in its path, all of these undead are just spilling out the sides, dropping, falling hundreds of feet even, and whichever ones manage to survive just get up and start killing, and Vecna just raises the dead, increasing his army even more.
Yep. All those dead in the Raven Queen's temple, that's like a shit ton of dead just from that.
That depends on if they've been consecrated or not. Because there are certain rituals, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there is a spell that I believe clerics and paladins both get. I know clerics do, but I think paladins get it as well. That means that the corpse cannot be reanimated.
Mm.
And of course, there's always the option of burning the corpse.
That too. But, you know, I still worry that Vecna can just do it anyways because he's a god now, so.
Yeah. We'll see.
I just don't underestimate him. I expect him to basically know where Vox Machina is at all times at this point. I expect him to fully know what they have left, what's in their possession. I don't expect him to not know anything. I fully expect him to be totally unsurprised when Vox Machina comes up behind him.
Yep. I actually see them exiting from the Titan, and, you know, as Vecna's looking out over the whatever land he has left to cross to get into Vasselheim, Vox Machina's coming up behind him, and he just talks to them without turning around.
Yeah, that's surely plausible.
Hello, Vox Machina.
Yeah.
We meet again.
There's just also, like, he could throw so many things at them. He could appear to be one of the cultists on their way to try and find him. He could just appear at random places wherever they are. I'm not going to be surprised at any point because I don't underestimate him.
If Matt is dead set on starting the next campaign being after Vecna wins,
then that would be the case, yeah.
Vecna would probably, multiply himself so that each member of Vox Machina is having to fight Vecna one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but it's going to be a really tough battle, and it's going to be a very hard choice for Vox Machina to make, whether or not they're going to. And we'll get to this at the end, but whether or not they're going to take a short rest, just a couple more short rests, or a long rest.
Yeah. So, as Vox Machina is getting away, they enter a chamber. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sorry about that.
Bless you.
But Vox Machina enters a chamber that looks like a place where water came through to pour down into the center of the city. They open the doors on each side of the chamber and make their way through one of the tunnels, eventually coming to a grate. The twins, peer through and happen to see 3 cultists coming down the hall. They take aim. Vex fires her arrows. Vax throws his daggers.
Assassinate.
Yes. And they end up taking out one of the cultists and injuring the 2 others. And combat begins.
Akiva, I didn't like this fight. I was very frustrated with this fight.
What was it that frustrated you?
Keyleth could have used Earth Glide.
How?
If the wall of force is only blocking a certain area, if she turns into an earth elemental and just glides underneath, she pummels those 2 wizards like nothing else, and it's done with.
But she'd already used 2.
She had. Oh my god, she had. Gosh darn. everything I had been angry about is denied.
Yep.
No.
Because she had already used too many beast forms and elemental trans things before. She didn't have any left.
Yeah, she had already turned into an eagle, so that meant she couldn't turn into an elemental because she already used one of her slots.
Yep.
Fuzzballs, Akiva, I threw my sketchbook and pencil at the door because I was so mad that she wasn't doing that. I got really angry.
Well, you just got passionate and were trying to get them to win in an easy manner as possible because you know the danger that Vecna presents.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't work that way.
No, it didn't. Man. I feel stupid. Dang it.
There's no reason to feel stupid. A lot of people were actually had the same argument you did. But yeah, just a reminder. Once you use a beast form, you don't have enough shape shifts to
elementalify yourself.
Yes. But that being said, one of the wizards had put up a wall of force, essentially cutting off Vox Machina from getting in their way, while the other started to scramble away in order to warn the others that Vox Machina was there. And during the fight, out comes a sphere of annihilation.
I have not actually looked up the stats for this. I really should have in preparation. Tell us, Akiva, what is a sphere of annihilation? Because I was not privy to the stats on it.
To put it in the shortest possible terms, death in ball form.
Force damage?
Yes. Massive amounts of force damage. I have to look it up myself in order to get the exact damage, but let's see. Sphere
Page 123. This is for you guys out there who don't know what it is. And also us, because I don't know either.
Where? I'm not finding it.
Got it. Okay, it's a magic trap. Magical impenetrable darkness fills the gaping mouth of a stone face carved into a wall. This is just... Yeah, this is basically just what the trap is. So a successful DC 20 intelligence check reveals that the mouth contains a sphere of annihilation. Oh, sorry. This is more about the trap. I apologize.
I think it's something like 10d10.
It doesn't say. Shoot. This is the only thing.
Okay, well, let me look it up.
Oh, it's in Chapter 7. Hold, please, while we fumble.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the spell Sphere of Annihilation. Is it Globe of Annihilation? No.
Yeah, John O'Brien's telling us she could have summoned a elemental from her staff.
She could have. That is a possibility.
Am I already in Chapter 7? Yes. So...
I know it's on the wizard spell list, so let's take a look at that. Sorry, guys. didn't think this would be coming up. I didn't think it was coming up.
Sorry.
Either.
But if you guys have any idea of where it is, let us know in the chat. Yeah, it's not a spell, Akiva, it's an item. It's
then I'm looking in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's in one of the item charts.
Which would be in the DMG.
Yep.
Alright, so let me take a look in my DMG real quick.
I'm so glad that these are all... Nope, they're not alphabetized. That sucks. Found it. It's item numbered 96 in Magic Item Table I.
Yep.
Which is where?
Sorry, I'm trying to do this through my computer because it should theoretically be faster, but my computer is lagging a little bit. So we apologize if there's any distortion or breaking up in the broadcast.
Darn it.
Soon as it opens. You'll probably get to it before I do at this rate.
I'm on staffs right now. Got it.
Yeah, told you.
This 2-foot diameter black sphere is a hole in the multiverse, hovering in a space and stabilized by a magical field surrounding it. The sphere obliterates all matter it passes through and all matter that passes through it. Artifacts are an exception. Unless an artifact is susceptible to damage from Sphere of Annihilation, it passes through the sphere unscathed. Anything else that touches a sphere but isn't wholly engulfed and obliterated by it takes 4d10 force damage.
Oh, it's
the
4d10. Okay.
Yep. The sphere is stationary until someone controls it. If you are within 60 feet of an uncontrolled sphere, you can use an action to make a DC 25 Intelligence Arcana check. On a success, the sphere levitates in one direction of your choice up to a number of feet equal to 5 times your intelligence modifier. On a failure, the sphere moves 10 feet toward you. A creature whose space the sphere enters must succeed on a DC 13 dexterity saving throw or be touched by it, taking 4d10 force damage. If you intend to control the sphere that is under another creature's control, you make an intelligence check contested with that other intelligence check. The winner of the contest who gains control of the sphere and can levitate it normally. If the sphere comes into contact with the planar portal, such as that created by a gate spell or an extra-dimensional space, such as within a portal, the DM determines randomly what happens using the following table, which leads to the sphere being destroyed. The sphere moves through the portal or into that space, or a spatial rift sends each creature and object within 180 feet of the sphere, including the sphere, to a random plane of existence. Won't that be fun, Akiva?
Yep. Oh, boy.
And I just repeated that for everybody who's wondering why I'm doing that, because just for your knowledge, so that when you're watching this in the future, you guys know the stats of the sphere that the party is using, and if it turns against them, so you know what is bound to happen when they're using it.
I think it's safe to say when it turns against them, rather than if.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Scanlan's not going to be too focused on using it during the battle, so I fully expect Vecna to take a hold of it.
Oh, yeah. Now, I would think that the safest bet for Vox Machina would be to have Scanlan just send it straight down.
Yep.
Get it as far away from Vecna as possible.
Yep. We don't know how many of these things, though, he has.
True. But getting it as far away from Vecna as possible means there's one less for him to use on Vox Machina.
Yep, I definitely don't think they should be using it to bring up to Vecna.
Yeah.
Scanlan's got too much else to worry about right now.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, once the two wizards are dispatched, as you put in the notes, Scanlan attempts to force his will upon the sphere, fails the first time, and gets 26 points of force damage and part of his face messed up.
It's Two-Face Scanlan!
Yes. He tries the second time, and of course gets it, as we mentioned. And then the party decides, hey, let's get some information about what we're going to be faced with up when we go up there and actually face off with Vecna. And Pike tries to cast Speak with Dead. And instead of a talking corpse, Pike takes 30-something points of psychic damage. And Vecna's laughter ringing in her head.
Ain't that creepy?
The creepy part was the blood from the corners of her eyes.
I know, man. That was like, oh shoot, Vecna's not playing. He ain't messing.
No, he's not. Oh. I mean, just holy cow.
Yeah.
This is looking worse and worse for Vox Machina.
Yeah, it's kind of like doom and gloom central, and I appreciate all of the jokes that they've been telling just to keep themselves positive and just taking everything with a grain of salt with laughter.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's keeping the vibe of what would be a terribly dire situation a little less dire. But by the same token, Akiva, wrapping it up here, what do you think they should do? Do you think it'd be smart if they took a long rest and sacrificed Vasselheim in order to face Vecna? Because at that point, we would probably see Vecna in his ultimate display of power that he's been hinting at for so long.
I think we're going to see that regardless.
I do too, but it's a question of whether or not Vox Machina starts to face him while it happens or after it happens.
If they go after him now, then they're dead.
Oh.
It's going to be darkest timeline for the next campaign.
100%.
So their only hope of having a quasi-jovial beginning of the next campaign is for them to take that long rest.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing because Matt has already told us that Vecna, everything Vecna does it's happening. It's going to happen regardless of what Vox Machina does.
Yeah.
They're leading up to a final confrontation, and it's Vox Machina's choice when they want to confront him. But all of these events are going to take place. They're going to happen without them intervening or not.
Yeah.
So you have to decide, fight Vecna at Vasselheim, or let Vasselheim fall. Probably a lot of your allies get killed that have the city that's been the oldest, permanently decimated and desecrated, the holiest spot on this plane, whether you defeat Vecna or not, no longer the holiest spot, just fallen forever. It's going to happen no matter what. That city is going to fall.
Yep. It all
Which sucks, because I really love the Raven Queen's temple.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only question is really how much of the city is going to be demolished.
Yeah, how much of it is going to get protected by the divine energies? How much can be repaired after so much necrotic damage has been there? How much necrotic damage is going to affect certain parts of the city and forever forsake it to be a necrotic wasteland?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, if... I have the feeling that it's going to become part of a holy pilgrimage for just about every religion in Exandria to go to Vasselheim and help bless the lands and repair the defilement.
Yep. That would be an interesting plot point after this.
Oh, yeah. Interesting world point.
Yeah, just like a giant titan is sitting there. There's probably a whole bunch of skeletons quarantined off in one area, and slowly and very gradually, people are trying to, like, fish everything out of the area, and you could probably have adventures there.
Actually, that's a really good point.
That's, like, the best timeline.
Is Vasselheim on the same continent as... I am blanking on the name.
Wildmount?
No.
Vasselheim is on Isilra, which is just like think about it as like Russia, but Norway. And just like...
Okay.
Jesus.
Sorry.
What was that?
That was me coughing. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry for everybody's ears. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, but it goes Isilra, then there's Wildmount, like, in the center of all of that. Then there's Marquette beneath that, and then there's Tal'Dorei as, like, the America. But those are all, like, 4 major continents, and then the Broken Isles.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if Vasselheim was on the same continent as Marquette.
Nope.
But, okay.
I read the Tal'Dorei campaign guide. I very thoroughly know where each placement is.
I'm still in the process of reading it, but as I'm reading it, I'm converting it into a digital format for my games. So that's why it's taking me longer than most.
Yeah.
But I think that is going to go ahead and bring us to a close this week. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, make sure you click that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe to catch us each and every week. If you enjoy our content, make sure you hit that little bell in order to be notified that, hey, we're going live. If you missed any of the episode, don't forget, it will be going up on Monday. Send in any of your D&D questions or fan art to us, again, on our official Twitter, at Gilmore_gossip, or our private Twitters. I'm at Akiva David, AKIVADAPHYDD.
I'm Jesse LR Leaf at as you can see on the screen, J, L, R, and L are all capitalized.
Yes. We hope you enjoyed, and until next week, kick back, relax, and enjoy your games.
May all your hits be crits, have a nat 20 day, and I'll see you guys on the internet.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.